Hello guys, Wahoo here, back on a video. This time around we are going to go over the community letter for May. Yes, so finally we do have the community letter for May. Yeah, it was a little bit delayed. You can see here the 13th, so it's a little bit behind, but it's finally here, so now we can go over it. And if you want to check this stuff out yourself, you can go to the description and you can find the letter there. And I also want to, before we go too far into this one, I do want to say that there is no news, unfortunately, very much unfortunately, on the marketplace. Unfortunately, there's no news on the marketplace, and they did say it was gonna come out quite soon when they said that dev live stream. But since then, it's actually been 3 weeks since the live stream, and also since I just looked at when I did my recap, and I think I did it the day after or something like that. And on YouTube it says it's 3 years ago, I was about to say 3 weeks ago, that we had the live stream from the devs. So we have to see what is gonna happen with that as well. But stuff has been happening and we are gonna go over it in this video right here. So again, it's a link in the description if you want to check this stuff out. So some information right here, but what we had going on last month was, of course, the Bun Fest. It was Easter, and they actually did the old quest line, but they added a little bit on top of that and then some new stuff as well. So that was super awesome. The Bun Fest is always a good time. It's always a great time. So always really nice. And we also got release of the mythic rings. The mythic rings did come to Trove this month, and it was sort of, I think it's not completely, not saying it's not a new update or whatever, but I feel like it was kind of you know, a band-aid on a wound, because not of the marketplace per se, but also because they had to pull back on the tiny quest, which we also are going to talk about these ones as well. But I think it's great that we did get these new rings in, and that it was nice that we got these new abilities. A lot of the abilities are super awesome. I just kind of wish that there was a way for you to maybe re-roll, you know, the rings abilities or something like that, or the stats on them as well. It could be also very nice that you, whenever it's like, you know, second stat re-roll week, whatever, then you could roll the third stat on the item or whatever. It could also be kind of cool if you want to change something around, because it's not super easy to get these, but it's not that hard either. But it is on the prime levels and all that stuff, so it can take a little while, but it's not a big deal really. But the point is that it could just be nice that it could be re-rolled, so you wouldn't, like, you know, missing on some of that stuff as well. But that system was super awesome. The new rings are pretty awesome. I haven't done a update to my ring guide because it's very straightforward, to be honest. It's going from 300 to 350. It's basically just, you know, crafting more of your rings in the second to last tier, you know, just crafting more rose ring boxes. It doesn't really matter which ones you are going to craft, so you do have to stock up on some loops, but you can make the lowest ring box and then just go 50 of those, going all the way to, of course, 350. And then of course you get your epic ones, or not the epic one, the mythic ones. You get those, of course, by being in a world, a D15 world, when you hit a prime number. So the prime numbers, that's one that gets announced in the chat. You know, those are the prime numbers, and if you know, level up during or in a D15 world, then you will get one of these. That is one of the requirements to making one of these mythic rings. So if you don't have any Paragon levels yet, I can tell you so much that level 2 and 3 is actually prime numbers. So actually, if you don't have a character yet that is like level 2 or 3 in Paragon, you actually already get 2 right there. So that's super awesome to get it there so early indeed. But anyways, next is, and also they do want to, you know, rethink your favorite builds and stuff like that. The knight was super awesome, and I have a video that kind of covers all those, you know, in I was about to say in order, but one by one, all the classes do have that one. But upcoming, that is where the important stuff is, or more important stuff at least, is that we got the Spring Fling going on at the moment. So yeah, sure, you know, it's an event we have right now for the next 14 days, as we've had before. But this one, I already covered this one in our guide video, so not much to say about that one. But they introduced the new capsules, so another new thing on top of the old stuff, which is really nice, and all this new stuff as well. So really cool to add something else, because the old quest line, we have done that before. It's not really something new, something crazy, but it's just something we are used to. But new players are of course not. There's always new players coming in, so it's new to them, but it's nice that they add a few steps extra on top of that. So I would like to see a completely new quest line every single time, but maybe that's also too much to ask. Trove is not that big of a team, right? So I think it's great. I think it's a nice middle ground to just copy the last stuff and then, yeah, give us some new stuff as well, and in a new way to get the new stuff, basically. Then we are going to be in the developer update. So the developer update is going to talk about the transition to a 64-bit client. So we are going to get from a 62-bit to a 32 to 64. That's what I'm saying. And it's a fundamental update that helps run the game more reliable and pressured. I was about to say prepares it for the future. So yeah. Trove has grown over time. Previously, kind is more limited, and moving into that really stable more. So I hope that these changes is going to be something that is, just better for Trove. Not in the sense of it running stable, because I do feel like Trove runs pretty stable. It does have its ups and downs. It also has its login issues and all that stuff. But overall, I feel like Trove runs pretty great. So if this client makes it way better, then I think that's great. But I'm also thinking, not only thinking about stability here, I'm also talking about the limitations it does. It does say something about where it said something, limiting, right? So basically what I'm thinking here is that if they can do something with this new client that does something even more amazing, or they can do other things, more amazing things, better updates, then I'm all for this 64 client. Indeed, I have been testing it, and if I go right here on this little post here, they posted that they needed people to test it. So I've been testing on the PTS server, as other people has as well. And they wanted us to do dungeons, quests daily, just basically playing the game as we normally would. So I've been doing that as well, basically playing the game twice every single day, just so I'm doing my part to it. And they also had some participation rewards, which was to log into and stay active for 30 minutes, and then you will receive a patron pass. They did say for the first 100 players, so I'm not sure if I'm at that part of that, but I wasn't really thinking about that. I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take the 7 days if they're gonna give me 7 days. I'm not gonna complain about that. But if I'm not in those first 100 players, then I'm fine. I'm still going to play, and I've been playing more than 30 minutes. That is very what it's all about for me. So they also talk a little bit about the why this matters, is that it's a major technical step into improving stability and performances of Trove. I hope that's also, it opens up to having more possibilities to make better things. I think this is one of the steps to also implement the tiny quests and stuff like that, and then there's some stuff to how you are going to log on to this stuff. So yeah, this is not much of it, but there's just a post about it. I didn't make a video for it because it wasn't like that big of a testing thing, and I didn't want to make a whole video and people kind of hoping that they will get into the first 100 and don't get their 7 days on Patreon. I think it's kind of crazy for the first 100 players, but I think it should just be everyone, and then you should just have it like be more than active 30 minutes. I don't know. Anyways, that was just a testing, and hopefully that's gonna be super awesome. All right, going back to the community letter, they are talking about that it's delayed. One of the contribution factors was the transition to the client. I'm not sure that the 32-bit client was like a thing that didn't work for the tiny quests, because I'm not sure we transitioned when we tested the first time or anything like that. I was really in the impression that they wanted to kind of fine-tune it. I did my feedback with a video and with pictures and all that stuff on that. So I was thinking that was the delay, not that my opinion matters that much, but maybe other people have said that as well. Maybe people were like, okay, we want something more polished, and we want something more less invasive or whatever. So I thought that was going to be what they were working on, and they were also, of course, also working on the not only the client there, but they're also working on, you know, this update. Then of course they also worked on the ring one, but I think the ring one was kind of in the, you know, in the back, just sitting there, right? And then they of course also was working on the marketplace as well. So I think they got a lot of stuff working on simultaneously. So yeah, maybe this 64-bit thing is also something to do with the marketplace. They don't talk about the marketplace in this one, but maybe the, you know, the security things they're going to implement is actually, you know, kind of working. But I can tell you that the PTS server was open both for, you know, this client here test, and also for the ring quest, right? And actually I was testing it with our good friend Z, and he and I tried to, because I told him, hey, the trading post and like everything is not disabled here. I didn't, oh yeah, also the marketplace wasn't disabled on PTS server. It was all opened, and then we got ahead and tested if we could trade with each other, and we couldn't, and I could have talked to some other people and such, but I don't think that was really the issue or the necessary, because the main thing we actually tested was that his account could still not trade, and could still not open all these, you know, community chests and all that stuff. Not the community chest, but, you know, the officer chest and all that stuff. And also he couldn't open the marketplace because his account, even though on live servers, his account is way above mine. He's like almost like #1 and all that stuff. But the point is, you can't export your account at the moment. They haven't had that in a couple of updates. I don't know why we can't do it, but it doesn't work. And I haven't done it either myself. I would love to do it as well, but I've done it way back. So it is past that, you know, older account. So his is basically brand new because he can't export his live account to the PTS server. So his doesn't have all his, you know, all the things he's bought and all that stuff. So we are kind of thinking that the $5 loyalty thing is still in play. That's why I have access to it, and he does not have access to it. But we'll see what happens in the future. All I can say is that that is what we also tested on the PTS server, because I saw it was open and I was like, this one doesn't say disabled, right? So I wanted to test it out. But I could have also tested trading with somebody else, but I'm pretty sure they were able to if they could. And also I needed somebody that, you know, had copied their account way back. And yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. We don't really know what's going to be happening with the marketplace either, but we'll see what happens there in the future. Then they say looking ahead, and again, they're just talking about the stability of the, you know, the game and such. They don't again mention anything about the marketplace. I wasn't expecting something like this in a community letter. I would have that in like a whole other you know, post, and also like a sort of amazing stuff. And I think they kind of skipped out on the community questions because yeah, I was pushing really hard for this community letter. I really feel like we should have this every month. Just like all this stuff here is super, super awesome. But again, I've said this before, I've said it, and I'm gonna say it again. And hopefully somebody listens at some point. I really hope that we are going to have other the content creators kind of be in a rotation, that there will be kind of a segment with those, and kind of just some links to like a little text and just some links to their socials, right? Like just keep that. It doesn't have to be a big portrait like they've done for now. First me, and now also Cash and Clean have made the little 10-second video thing. But I think everybody should just have a little segment in this community letter, because we are part of the community and this is the community's letter. So I think this is really something that should be there every single time. And you know, these are approved content creators because they are in the content creator program. And I think it was just highlight them a little bit better. But yeah. If you want to go and, of course, put your community questions in, you can go to the Discord. It's also right here. So go to the description, go to this, you know, letter here, and then go down and you can find their Discord. And then there is a channel where you can put your questions in, and they will put them back here. And I think that's why they didn't, I don't think that the Boots had time to fish some questions out and get some answers that was, you know, there really right now. So yeah. that was the community letter for May. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had an amazing time. If you want to also hit up the PTA post that I did, it was here linked right here over here, so you can just go and check that stuff out. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.